Good morning or afternoon. Probably it's going to be afternoon by the time you see this video. Good morning, Flosstube. It's Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher. Today is February 16th, and welcome to my channel. It's a channel about cross stitch, needlework, plans that change, things that I buy, what inspires me, and I don't even know what video this is. It's February. It was 50 degrees out today. Balmy. Like I got up this morning, I thought, what is going on? There's going to be flowers pushing up through the soil before you know it. We went to church and I noticed that there were some trees that are starting to try to bud their leaves. And so this is my favorite time of year. I love spring in the Pacific Northwest. The grass farms look like they're manicured lawns and the flowers are just amazing here. So welcome to my channel. What have I been doing? Well, it's been a few weeks since my last video, and I went to Las Vegas with my sister and my niece to watch my niece play volleyball. She plays club volleyball. They're in California right now for a tournament. So it was fun watching her. I did just a little bit of stitching, not a whole lot, a lot of volleyball watching, and a lot of walking around. And so there's that. I didn't get to Stitcher's Paradise, which I was kind of hoping I would, but it's okay. We were there for volleyball. And then what else? So I was in Vegas coming back, and Ellen Reed from Crash Test Dummies said, hey, I'm in Vegas too. And I said, well, we're leaving. Maybe sometime I'll see you when you get to Portland for a concert. And she goes, we're going to be there on the 10th. And I said, of February? She said, yes. So my third child lives in Portland, and I reached out to him. I said, do you want to go to a concert with me? And he's like, of course. So we went to this amazing dinner at a place called Gino's. Portland has done a great job of kind of cleaning up the downtown area and some of the neighboring burbs. So that part of Portland is very vintage and kitschy and very trendy. It was a great restaurant. We had wonderful Italian food, and then we went and watched Ellen Reed. I always think of her as Ellen Reed, and they're the Crash Test Dummies too, but I was there to watch Ellen Reed. So it was a lot of fun. It was at the Aladdin Theater in Portland, which is a vintage, it was built in the 20s. It's that old of a theater, and it was a great venue. People watching was on point. I love Portland. Portland is very diverse, expressive. People are who they are, and I love that about Portland. And it's such great people watching. It's just fantastic. It's great. What else? Gosh, I'm trying to think of what I did last week, and I don't know. I didn't make a video. And I think this year you're going to see me probably every few weeks instead of every other week. It's probably going to be one of those situations where, like this last weekend, yesterday I went and looked for lighting fixtures. Now I'm going to have to think through like what color schemes do I want in my house. I just need to get on top of that. So I'm probably going to take a day off this week and go explore more lighting fixtures. Did you know that if you have a vaulted ceiling and you want recessed lighting, you need sloped lights so your light casts down and not at an angle? I didn't know that. So I'm learning. I have been stitching. Let's see. I've got good stuff all around me here. I'm going to show you some things that are probably not going to be in the order that I stitched them, but they're just whatever's on top of the pile right now. And the first one, which is I think it was the second thing I worked on, or the third thing, is Rose Wreath Sampler by GGR. And my sister told me this is the most favorite thing I've ever stitched. She loves it the most of anything I've ever made, which is fine because, you know, sisters' opinions matter a lot. And I finished the border on this one side. Well, there's about 8 or 9 flowers left to do. I think there's 53 flowers when I counted this up. I look like I'm a gymnast, a very bad one at that. And this one is so much fun. So actually it was on this side that I finished it. And I started this big, huge acres of grass there. Grass, 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 the tree. This is a focus piece for this year. I'll keep pecking away at it. I don't know when it'll be finished, but I imagine it'll be in the next few months. I have fewer than 30 WIPS. Oh, my hair. Fewer than 30 WIPS. So the last couple of years, especially last year, I was very diligent about working on my focus pieces early in the year and throughout the year. And I don't know if I'm going to do that this year. Probably one at a time. I can kind of finish one sampler a month-ish. But I'm just not worried about it this year. I'm just going to keep working on the things that I love stitching and whatever calls me. All right. So the next thing that I worked on, I've got bits of dust on me, bits of lint, is, sorry, I'm dropping stuff, is Mary Leah, 1793 by Hands Across the Sea. And I have this stored in my project bag with the Blackbird designs on it. I have a bazillion, that's what I worked on yesterday, was putting lining on a bunch more bags that I'm going to have for sale next weekend or the weekend after. Now, I didn't get a ton done on this. This is being stitched on 40 count Hemingway by Needle and Flax, but I just wanted to show the luscious colors that are in this. Each, there's a lot of layers of colors, what I would say, that there's reds, there's greens, there's kind of brownish colors, and this Hemingway is the perfect color for this sampler. If you look at the picture, it's a great color. Now, I stopped because as I was stitching along, I realized that one of the colors I had bought, 2113, was the wrong color. I needed 2213. So my dyslexia when I was picking out threads, there's a huge difference here, stopped me in my tracks. I looked at the pattern, I'm like, that doesn't look like the right color. And sure enough, it was not the right color. So I put that aside. And then while I was at in Las Vegas, I started something that called my name, and it is and I think I showed this on my last video. It's a Patreon chart by Teresa Kogut, and it's called Home. I changed the colors on this, but isn't that beautiful? This is 40 count Fragile by Needle and Flax, and this, I have found something that I'm going to finish. Okay, so first of all, put a pin in that, because there's going to be a second piece. This is another Patreon chart that says, no bird soars too high if he soars with his own wings. Okay, so this is actually a little too big. I have a second piece of Fragile that I'm going to stitch this on. I'm just going to stitch the bird and maybe a few of the flowers in here. And this is going to go on, this is part of my haul actually. If you watched me on Instagram, I bought this at a secondhand store. It is a sewing box. I guess that's the technical word for it. And it didn't have the knobs, so I bought new knobs, and I got some E6000, and I went ahead and glued those on. I'm going to paint this. I think I'm going to paint it black and then let it dry and then paint a cream or off-white color on it and then distress it. I might leave the handle the way it is. I've done some sanding on it, so it knocked some of the finish off of it. But this is where I'm going to put those two pieces, the two Teresa Kogut pieces, one on one side and one on the other. Okay, so this is my plan that was hatched. And then last weekend, I went to my local quilt store and I bought some quilt fabrics that I'm going to line the little layers, the little opening drawers on either side of that box. So I'm excited. We'll see how this turns out, but I just love different finishes. And I'll tell you, I was inspired by Teresa Kogut. she and I are on the same wavelength. I mean, she's a designer. Come on. And she came up with the design in her market preview of the Easter basket. And I'm always looking for something, a different way to display cross stitch, something that's a little unexpected or uses what I already have on hand. So she inspires me, and I saw that and I thought, oh, that is exactly what I'm going to do with this cross stitch. And I'm going to fill that with needle rolls and needle books and needle cases, and scissor fobs and scissor holders and all the good stuff. So, and I should have enough fabric that maybe I can create like a little retreat mat. So it's all together. When I want to stitch, it's all together in one spot. I dream, you dream, we all dream. What else have I worked on? Oh, this is the very first thing. In fact, I'm going to put this other one to the side here real quick. This is the very first thing I worked on after my last video, because it was already on my Q-snap, and it's Marianne Kopp by Brenda Gervais. This is being stitched on 40 count ballet slipper. It's just a little bit a skosh more pink. I don't know if putting this up next to it would change the color. It's a blush color. So, and it has a tinge more pink than what you're seeing, which really does a good job of balancing this clockwork color, which is kind of an orangey pink color. And I love this. So I'm just going to keep doing the border, the bones, as my friend Carol would say, salt box stitcher, the bones of the vine of the border all the way around, and keep working up on this. This is definitely a spring stitch, don't you think? Yes, I love it. And then the last thing I worked on is, I'm trying to do this without dropping everything, is Good Company by the Scarlet House. And my friend Vanessa Flame Fingers on Instagram, she's my stitching twin sister. Like, we have a lot of the same projects, a lot. And we're messaging every once in a while. We do a lot of the same things. So she is working on that. And this, I bought the Belle Soie silks. I also have some other projects that call for Belle Soie, so I just put everything on one ring. So it might be colors that are on here might not be in this pattern, but I don't want to lose track of them. It's just easier to keep them together. Now, I am stitching this on 40 count vintage pear, and look at the colors in this. It is, okay, so the dye lots have changed, and I changed some colors. So the green that's on the hill, I'm just going to come over to this side here. The green that's on this hill, I used beanstalk instead of Attic tea. And then the gray that's in the border was, I think it called for limestone, which was really dark, a very dark color. So I changed it to actually a cotton overdyed. I used a Weeks Spanish moss instead. And I demoed like several colors. I kept picking grays that were too blue. Instead, I picked a gray that was more brown, and it's exactly what it needed. And this, isn't this amazing, that blue water? That's Puritan blue. It's the called for. And then look at the teeniest, tiniest little over one flag. There is some over one stitching on this. It's going to be tent stitched. So it goes quickly. It's not difficult. And I tried to cross over it, and it was way too bulky with the silk. So I just let go and did a tent stitch, and it turned out wonderfully. And I love, love, love stitching on this. Originally, I had done this in a different color. I did a conversion, and I really didn't like the way it was looking. So I found some vintage pear. The vintage pear I had was the wrong color. And so I found some that was the right color. It was fantastic. And that was what I worked on. Pile of stuff here. All right. So I've been hankering to work on this project. And I'm inspired by my friend Lori, textilist, who is doing her one red thread a day. I will be honest with you, I'm probably not disciplined enough to do one red thread a day. And this project is black threads. It is Marjorie Massey Quaker Street. I bought this through Kitten Stitcher on her website. I think she distributes for Marjorie in the United States. This is where I am. And I'm using a Silks For You black thread. I don't know what number it is. It's just a black thread that's kind of got some nice graphite kind of colors in it. But isn't that beautiful? So I'm going to do 1 or 2 black threads a day or so. A day or so, because honestly, I don't stitch in the mornings. I usually get up, get ready, and go to work. I'm usually at work around 7:30. And I'm not an early riser. So, but I could certainly, before I stitch on other things, do 1 or 2 black threads in this. And this is a pleasure to stitch on. This is 40 count vintage straw flower. I'm pretty sure I've got the tag on it. Yep. By from Acorns and Threads. But that color is just, it's so lovely. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? So that one I think I'm going to stitch on before I see you next time. And what else is going on here? I haven't bought a lot of stuff. There was, well, we did have Valentine's, right, on Thursday. So I was at the store for something, and I don't get out a whole lot. And it was pretty depleted, the Valentine's Day choices. But I bought this for my husband. And I love the tin so much, but I'm holding on to it. So I tell you this because I don't know if there's, where you live, if there's anything left like this in your area. But this could be a great place to store Valentine's smalls and using Valentine's decor. And maybe even do something like using these types of quilting calicos or quilt fabrics to line it. So you could take the lid off and maybe leave it open, put your Valentine's smalls in there. So if you haven't already, go check your store and see if any of those are left. It was like $8. It was not expensive. And when I was at the quilt store and I bought this quilt fabric, I saw a jelly roll of French General. This is, it's her last line. I don't even know how you say it. I'll put it across the bottom here. And I saw a Star Within a Star quilt and the pattern's from Missouri Quilts Company. I'll throw a picture up right here. And when I saw that, I'm like, I need to make this quilt. So I need to find another jelly roll. I think she thought it took 2 jelly rolls. I need to go pick up the pattern and some of the, I think you have to buy some yardage. But I definitely want to make that quilt. It would be easy to make. A jelly roll quilt's usually you're sewing rows and you cut them and you sew the rows together. So I bought that. Also from my friend Olivia from Hillside Rookery, I bought Non-Forgotten Farm Brown Egg Farm, which, here, let me take this out. Olivia said, I can't wait to see that stitched. I don't know if anybody stitched this. Isn't this adorable though? Super cute. So that was on my list. But the reason why I put an order in to begin with is I watched Christy from Daisy K Primitives. She's stitching Margaret Cotton. This was a 3-part series from La Di Da that I guess has been released now. I didn't know that. And that Hillside Rookery has this pattern. So I went out and bought this because I've always wanted that. I saw 2 of the 3 parts at Country Sampler in the clearance bin, and I didn't buy it because I'm like, what are the chances I'm going to find the first of 3, which was the one that was missing. So I left it, and I was super excited that you can get that from Hillside Rookery Etsy shop. My friend Olivia B. Also, and this is not much for haul. I picked up from Treehouse Fiber Arts, my Rachel. She and Sue do a Flosstube called Flosstube. Lori Holt project bags. Okay. And I love this. So I think Sean Periwinkle Stitcher may have made some of these. There's quite a few on this panel. It's very reasonable. Several bags. And then you open it up and there's more. I mean, look at this. Is that not adorable? So cute. So I bought those. But honestly, what I'm buying these days is light fixtures, bathroom fixtures, insulation, that type of stuff. So I'm trying to be a little more disciplined on that. Let's see. So we're at 20 minutes. There's not much more to discuss. What do I have coming up? In April, I'm going to Stitching at the Coast through Acorns and Threads. It's a retreat with no designer, and so it's very economical. I used to live on the coast. My husband grew up there, and I have friends that live there, so I'm going to stay with them at night and save the cost of a hotel. And then in May, I go to the Farm Girl Retreat, and I saw Stitching Gem is going to be there. I watched her Flosstube, and so I'm excited to say hi and get to visit with her. We're going to go to Country Sampler also, so I'm saving my pennies for that. And then I don't have any planned retreats for the rest of the year. I might see if we can go to Stitch West because we can drive there. It's like 12 hours, maybe 10 or 12 hours, but plane tickets can be expensive. So I'm not sure. We'll see. I'll probably be buying things like sheetrock, doorknobs, important things for a house. I think that's all I have for today. I was going to ask you, I do have some giveaways. And I was going to ask you, so I watched Treehouse Fiber Arts. She sends a newsletter out every once in a while. Rachel does. And I also I think I get Lindy Stitches. I get a newsletter from Blue Flower. I don't know if I get Teresa Kogut's. I'm in her Patreon. And Country Sampler. But I was wondering what newsletters, in the attic, needlework, which reminds me, it's hard losing people. It is hard losing people. I am sad for us. I'm not sad for Jean. Jean's was a woman of faith, and I believe she's in a better place. And I believe I'll see her again one day. Jean Lee was, I remember talking about her after going to one of her retreats and just saying what an iconic person she was. And when I saw her at another retreat shortly thereafter, she just said, I really appreciate that because sometimes it can be rough in retail. People don't always show grace and don't, give the respect that is really earned. And so just as a great reminder that we should care for each other, especially when there's a lot going on. So I always think of Jean and her giggle. So she had the best laugh. So funny. What a beautiful, humorous human being. So impactful. And I feel very fortunate to have met her. But if you have newsletters that you recommend, please drop it in the chat below because I think other people would like to know what other newsletters you think are good and helpful, which ones you enjoy. There's so much coming out from market right now that I'm sure we're feeling seeing a lot of newsletters. Okay, so I have a few giveaways, and I will choose, I think I'll choose these three. The first one is a design by Four Oaks Designs. It's called Rhapsody in Blue. I'm just going to pull this out of the sleeve here so you can see it. Isn't that gorgeous? Rhapsody in Blue by Four Oaks. If you would like this chart, please comment below the word blue. I won't make you spell Rhapsody. How about the word blue? And then I was going through my charts and I found this. I have Sarah Elizabeth Brooke by the Scarlet House. I have 2 copies. I liked it so much I bought it twice. There you go. If you like this chart and you'd like it, just go ahead and write the word Sarah, S-A-R-A-H, in your comments. The last one is, this is beautiful. I don't think I've ever seen this stitched up. It's called Ring of Roses. It's by Papillion Creations, and it's a Quaker. It's a, here, let me slip this out because the shine is going to do this in. It's a soft, definitely a soft color palette. It's Papillion Creations, and there is Quaker alphabets, Quaker motifs, and then alphabets on the diagonal. If you would like this one, please write roses in your comment. Just a last thing I was thinking about today after church, and I watched someone gave a quick talk recently. I think it was like a psychologist, and it's about anxiety, right? So anxiety is prevalent in our society today, and there's a lot of noise coming from so many places, and it can be just so debilitating. And this person talked about the antidote to anxiety is gratitude. So, well, if you fill your brain with gratitude and thinking about things that you're grateful for, there really isn't room for anxiety. And I know that there's a strong pull, right? That there's a lot of different competing voices. There's definitely the enemy of love wants you to feel isolated, uncared for, divided, right? So I have committed to filling my brain with gratitude. And so each video, for a while here, I'm just going to talk about maybe one thing that I'm grateful for. So that's my commitment to myself too, right? I am grateful for you. I am grateful for the people who comment on my videos and just pour their love out without any commitment back, right? So I'm grateful for the stitching community and all the people who share the love of stitching at retreats, on Instagram and Facebook groups, who are positive, uplifting, and say words of encouragement. So thank you for all that you do to support me and the people around you. I'm grateful for you. That's all I have for today. I surely hope you have a good week, and we will see you next time. Take care.